Got a few video games that I have played as much as I'm going to play and need to get some thoughts out on. So, why don't we start with my friend Pedro? This one, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I think it was about like 3.5, 4 hours altogether. I did beat it. I didn't do great at it. It is one of those sort of finesse kind of games. I guess basic logistics, it is a 2D shoot 'em up with a slow mo ability. You have not particularly intricate, but like pretty precise sort of traversal moves. You have you have a wall jump, and you have a dodge that's basically you spinning. And if you have a gun in each hand, you can actually kind of dual aim. You can aim a different gun at a different target. There's kind of a snap aim which for someone who's real bad at aiming with an analog stick, I really appreciate it that it kind of, if you're just generally close to where it is, it'll snap to whoever is the closest target, which helped a lot. And it has a slow mo, and it is one of those games where it's fun to play through once, but I think the people who really dig, like, because it gives you a grade rating at the end of every level, and the people who like really want to get good at stuff like that, I think they'll dig this a lot, because the amount of precision that you can get, like, you get good at this game and you can probably rip through any given level without taking a single point of damage. And just because, when you take out character after character after character, if you get another one before too much time elapses, your combo goes up. Like, you could rack up some crazy scores if you are inclined to get good at this in that way. I'm not that kind of gamer, so I wasn't, but I could definitely see the appeal for that. But despite being that, it was also still accessible. There's a game that I tried a little while ago that I never ended up reviewing because I only played for like hour at the most, called Leica Age Through Blood. And that was a game that I'm like, boy, if I could wrap my head around these mechanics and actually be any good at it, I bet this game's awesome. I'm having a real hard time doing it, and it's not enjoyable. And a part of the thing with Leica was a lot less forgiving. Um, but it felt like it had that same thing. Like, the idea is, like, if you're good, like, it just looks balletic. And like, you probably feel like a total badass, but I wasn't good, so I kept dying. Not to say I didn't die a lot in this, but the checkpoints are real generous in this, and you do have a bit of a health bar, so it's not like you go down in one hit. Unlike, say, this is another one that I played but did finish, Katana Zero. It does have a similar overall vibe to Katana Zero in a lot of ways. The main difference being Katana Zero was you get hit once, you're gone. Whereas this is, you do have a certain amount of health, so you can take a few hits, which especially later on helped. But I'll tell you what, as I was getting my feet into it and was getting a handle on the using the guns, and got new ones later on, I did feel like a badass. Like, the shotgun just sounds so just thumpy. It was real good. That felt good. And then when I realized the assault rifle also had a grenade launcher on it, yeah, that was fun. That having been said, the last 3 levels out of the 6, the spell, it didn't fully break, but it kind of diminished. Like, the game was real engaging as new combat elements were introduced as it went. As, like, because I'm starting with pistols, and then I get an Uzi. Now I can dual wield the Uzis. Now I have a shotgun. Now I've got, the assault rifle, and the somewhat different combat things that I'm dealing with. Oh, these guys have some more health. These guys have a lot more health, but they don't have guns, and they're trying to get into range to melee attack me. As the combat was evolving, it felt good. The back end starts to lean a lot more into platforming challenges, which they weren't bad, but were not nearly as rewarding. They felt a lot more like a chore. So by the end, when I'm having to dodge laser beams that kill me real quick if I stay in them too long, I'm like, I don't I get to the other side of these sections and I go, whew, okay. I get to the other side of a section with a bunch of guys who have to mow down with the guns, and I'm going, yeah! Like, that's the difference. Also, there's a little bit of a disconnect with the presentation. Like, it wants to be irreverent, because, like, you are this character in a gas mask, and you are being guided by your imaginary friend, which is a floating banana with a smiley face drawn on it. And the world doesn't make immediate sense. Like, and it's getting more surreal as time goes on. Like, you're being told, like, oh, we'll just explore this area. Like, this is way too big for what you told me this place was. And who the hell designed this? And where did all these people come from? And what is even going on? Except it's not quite wild enough. For as wild as it could have gotten, especially given that, yeah, by the end, it is definitely going with the idea of you are bonkers and have lost it. Which, some people aren't comfortable with getting into sort of depictions of, very fictionalized and stylized mental illness, but playing it for comedy. Some people aren't comfortable with that. It's a thing. Like, I knew that going in, but like, it really needed to go bonkers with it, and it doesn't. Like, there's really only one level, and then like the final boss that are legitimately kind of out there. And then the rest of it is just gray-brown industrial areas as far as the eye can see. It feels like it really needed less restraints on its visuals and layout and level design and theming. And maybe it was a budget issue. Maybe they didn't have the money to design more wild environments, because the general similarity to the assets of, a factory in a meatpacking district and it's sort of a warehouse kind of area and sewers, and like those are all similar enough that it's probably not too difficult to build those very, very similar assets without having to design a whole bunch of stuff. So it might partially be a limitation, but it is one of those things, like, they made a rod for their own back a little bit by introducing the notion of wacky over-the-topness, and then it's like the action is very over-the-top, but the thematics and the characters are not nearly as over-the-top or wacky as they present themselves as, which is a little off. Like, the first half of the game kind of kicks ass, and it kicked ass well enough to get me committed to seeing it through to the end. And I'm not upset that I did that. But its hold over me did diminish steadily on the back half of the game. So it is one of those, like, if you get it on sale, if you get it cheap, which I'm pretty sure I did, because I generally do, it's a good afternoon's get a handle on it playthrough. Or if you are the kind of if you're the kind of person who like loves Devil May Cry and Bayonetta because they grade you, and like if you get better with like finesse in the jumping and you take all these guys out before you even touch the ground kind of thing. If you like that, it'll probably do even better for you than it did for me. Like, I'm not good enough at that for that to be a pull, but I had fun. It just, honestly, it should have been stupider. Oh, well. My friend Pedro, I still had fun with it. Have you played it? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, subscribe. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here. So come on back next time you need a break. Now to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Lafula, Auntie Kate 808, Mira G, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Oliver B, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Melissa Pedersen, Becky Sparks, Ulrich, Twilord, Mystic Shadow, Tracy Scrabbit, Pal Barabajoggle, Sir Didymus is my favorite, and shoutouts to some random folks from the lower tiers. Thanks to Callum Ray, Three Muppets in a Trench Coat, and Alex Fireheart. If you want to hear me thank you by name, you can check out the reward tiers on the Patreon. You guys were pretty good today. Thank you.